Chosen one. This word has not found you without meaning, nor has it appeared amid the many noises of life, only to become a passing sound and then disappear. I, Michael, stand beside you in the mercy of heaven to remind you that among countless screens, countless invitations, and countless things fighting for your attention, there is still a greater guidance that has gently brought you here. This is not coincidence, nor is it a moment of wondering. The one who saw you before you fully understood your journey is still watching every step you take, every season you endure, every silence you do not know how to name. And today, this word is placed before you as a gentle yet very clear signal. Something in this moment is being opened for you. Those 3 days, June 1, June 2, and June 3, are not merely numbers on a calendar. For those who have been set apart, they carry a hidden weight, a rhythm of transition that not everyone around you can sense. Some will look at them and see only time passing like any other day. But you feel a gentle pull within, as though something is calling you to stop. Settle down and pay attention. Do not despise that prompting. Not every guidance comes with a loud sound. There are signs sent through a strange uneasiness, through the feeling that you need to pray, through a reminder that suddenly touches you at the very moment you thought you had passed every opportunity. If you have come to this message as the door has just begun to open, then recognize that you are being called to enter with awareness. If you are standing in the peaceful middle of this window, let your heart become still and do not rush after the things that scatter you. And if you feel you are near the final hours of this transition, then I want you to understand that this has not yet been taken from your hand. God does not hastily close the doors He has opened for the ones He loves. His mercy does not operate according to your panic. His timing is not limited by the fear that you are one step too late. So breathe slowly and receive this invitation with a tender heart. Do not ask why you were brought here when you could have been anywhere else. Your presence in this very moment is already a sign. The call is still resounding. The signal is still being sent. The door still holds light. And I speak to you with the tenderness of a guardian. Do not ignore what you are sensing. There are appointments that do not need drums, do not need a crowd to witness them, and do not need anyone to confirm them for you. You only need to recognize that heaven has called your name in the right season, at the right hour, and in the right place where you needed to be awakened. There is a sacred rhythm in the way God leads all things, and many times that rhythm is revealed through the number 3. Beloved child, I want you to listen to this with gentle awareness, not with fear, for when God places a special window of time before you, He does not do it to threaten you, but to awaken the part within you that has slept for too long under the weight of delay, weariness, and familiarity. There are seasons when God does not merely comfort you, He moves you. There are stages that are not only meant for you to survive one more day, but to be moved from an old state into a new level of clarity, maturity, and obedience. These 3 days are not the shadow of punishment drawing near to you. No, my child. This is a solemn call from mercy. It reminds you that there are things being placed into your hands right now. And if you continue to live as though you do not hear, what you lose will not always come in the form of a great event. Sometimes the most painful loss is quietly waking up for another season in a life lower than what God has prepared for you. It is when you are still living, still working, still passing through the days. Yet deep within, you know clearly that you are living smaller than the calling that has been sown into you. Therefore, I do not want you to understand this window of time as a heavy compulsion. Understand it as a door that has opened slightly, a stream of light inviting you into sacred seriousness. You have sensed this for a long time, have you not? The feeling that you were not created merely to repeat the same old cycle of life. The feeling that a wider, purer, braver version of you is waiting to be awakened. There have been times when you watched time pass and felt an ache within, not because you were driven by empty ambition, but because you knew something in you had not yet fully begun to operate. That ache is not an exaggeration of imagination. It is a signal. It is a soft but persistent bell, reminding you that it is time to stop delaying what God is asking you to face. During these 3 days, what matters is not that you do many things to prove you are worthy. What matters is that you become awake, pure, and ready. Let unnecessary noise settle down. Look again at what has been entrusted to you but has remained untouched because of fear. Stop calling hesitation waiting. Stop calling avoidance peace. Stop calling familiarity safety. God is touching the places where you once delayed because you feared failure, feared being seen, feared stepping out of the old image you had grown used to wearing. I speak to you with steady love. Do not fall asleep before this invitation. Not because God will turn his back on you, but because you are too precious to continue living below the measure of grace placed within you. Enter these 3 days with stillness, prayer, listening, and a reordering of your heart. What is moving does not need your panic, it needs your agreement. When you agree through small but sincere obedience, what has been blocked will begin to find its flow again. And when the signal within you is fully awakened, you will understand that God is not only changing your circumstances, he is raising you into the stature he has quietly prepared for you for a long time. This is not excessive imagination within you, but the rhythm of recognition belonging to someone who has been placed in the right sacred position for a special season of movement. Beloved child, I want you to stop doubting yourself every time a deep prompting rises within you that others cannot understand. Not every true thing comes with a loud voice, and not every guidance must be proved immediately before the eyes of the world. There are things heaven placed within you very early. Then use time, trials, tears, waiting, and even the moments when you thought you had broken apart to reshape you into a vessel that can contain something greater. Therefore, what you are sensing is not an illusion born from desire, but a sign that you are beginning to hear the frequency of the very position you have been prepared to enter. But you must understand this with humility. Being chosen is not a cloak to wear with pride, nor is it a title for you to lift yourself above others. To be chosen is to be entrusted with responsibility. To be chosen is to be shaped longer, corrected more deeply, led through seasons you cannot explain to anyone, so that when the time comes, you will carry not only ability, but purity, endurance, and obedience. Many people see only the result, but they do not see the nights when you had to learn how to rise when no one was cheering you on. They do not see the times you were separated from what was familiar so you could be renewed. They do not see what heaven quietly removed from you to keep you from collapsing when a greater blessing would be placed into your hands. And this is what you must remember. Being chosen does not mean you have already lived fully in everything you were created to carry. There are people who bear a very real mark, yet still operate in only a small portion of the capacity they have been given. Not because the Most High is withholding from them, but because there are coverings lying between them and the full recognition of who they are. It may be the fear of being judged, old words that once made you shrink, failures that made you hesitant to continue, or attachments that once made you forget the nobility sown within you. Those things do not erase the calling, but they can weaken the signal, causing you to live cautiously when you were created to walk with greater steadiness. So in this season, I do not come only to comfort you, I come to awaken the part of you that has slept for too long. Do not continue calling your smallness humility if it is truly coming from fear. Do not call delay waiting if you are actually avoiding the first step. Do not let what once hurt you become a wall, blocking what heaven wants to release through you. You do not need to rush, but you do need to be ready. You do not need to prove that you are special, but you do need to stop living as though nothing has been entrusted to you. I am reminding you with gentleness but certainty, your position is not accidental. Your preparation has not been useless, and the years that seemed slowed down have not been wasted. What is being unlocked within you will not come through the noise of the old self, but through the peace of one who has learned to stand in the right place, hear the right call, and move in the right rhythm. Let the coverings fall away. Let your true self rise in purity, and believe that when the full signal becomes clearer, you will no longer need to force yourself to become someone else. You will only need to return to what heaven placed within you from the beginning. Think about this in stillness. When a person walks through thick fog, the road has not disappeared. Their sight is simply limited to a few steps ahead. I know, my child, that there have been seasons when you walked like that, not because you had no destination, and not because the promise had vanished, but because a certain haze kept you from seeing beyond the present moment. You still tried to move forward, still tried to keep faith, still tried to guess where the next turn would lead you. But the longer you walked in that condition, the easier it became to believe that living in uncertainty was a normal part of your journey. And I come to remind you that confusion is not your home. Bewilderment is not your calling. And seeing only a small measure of light does not mean the sky has closed. Some people have grown so used to steering their lives through fog that they no longer expect clarity. They call indecision wisdom, delay caution, weariness humility, when in truth, something inside them has gone too long without being touched by a specific word of guidance. You have also had moments like that. You asked much, thought much, blamed yourself much, then tried to become a stricter version of yourself, as though if you were disciplined enough, strong enough, and tried hard enough, the fog would clear by itself. But beloved child, what the Most High is doing in this season does not begin by demanding that you brace yourself harder. He does not come to place another burden upon your shoulders. He comes to give you something that must be received. Those 3 days, June 1, June 2, and June 3, are not only marks on a calendar, but symbols of a touch from heaven upon the place where you once could not see clearly. It is the moment when guidance begins to pierce through the haze, not necessarily with a loud echo, but with a purer knowing, a new awareness, and the ability to distinguish what should be kept from what must be released. I am not saying every answer will immediately appear before your eyes. Nor am I saying the whole road will open before you all at once. But when God touches the fog, He does not need to clear the whole sky immediately. Sometimes He illuminates just enough for the next step. And that very step will lead you out of the place where you have stood for too long. So do not take lightly what is being given to you just because it seems simple. The holiest things are often not complicated, they are ancient, pure, and already held in loving intention before you ever learn to name your fear. What you need is not a heavier formula, but a softer receiving. Open your heart to the light that is coming. Let clarity return like the first breath after a long night. And remember that I am walking with you. The fog may have slowed you before, but it has no right to define your journey. When guidance has begun, you will no longer have to call confusion normal, because the Most High is bringing you into a bright place where every step is upheld, preserved, and led toward the place you have been called to reach. You were chosen before you were formed, and that is not a phrase meant to move you for a passing moment, but a sacred truth about the intention placed upon your life from the very beginning, before anyone called you by name, before you entered this world with your first breath, before you could understand who you were or where you would go. Heaven saw you within a clear purpose. You did not appear as an accident amid the confusion of life. You were sent with a mark, an assignment, a layer of responsibility, and a depth that the world does not always have the ability to recognize. And because what was placed within you is not small. From the early days, many voices tried to make you believe you should shrink, live just enough, become less different, and stop expecting something great. I know that this did not always come like a violent attack. If it had been loud and obvious, perhaps you would have recognized it more easily, but often it came through words that seemed harmless, repeated through the years until you began to doubt yourself. Someone may have told you that you dreamed too much, and another day said you were not capable enough. There were places that made you feel you had to hide your sensitivity, your creativity, your deep discernment, just to be accepted like everyone else. There are systems that reward conformity, exalt safety, and cause anything beyond the pattern to be seen as troublesome. Gradually, you learn to speak more softly, expect less, and wait for someone else to give permission before daring to step into what you had sensed for a long time. But, beloved child, I come to remind you that the extraordinary is not a misplaced burden. It only becomes a burden when you try to carry it in rooms that were not built to understand it. Not everyone who loves you has enough vision to recognize what heaven placed within you. Some people truly love you, but advise you through their fear. Some want you to be safe, but the safety they understand is far too small for the path entrusted to you. Some want you to avoid pain, but they do not know that sometimes rejecting the call is what exhausts you most deeply. Therefore, do not resent every voice that once made you hesitate, but do not continue giving those voices the power to define you. I am not telling you to be proud. I am teaching you to stand upright in humility. You do not need to prove you are special through noise, and you do not need to shrink yourself to be loved. Return to pure recognition. You were created intentionally, guided with order, and invited to operate at a level deeper than the approval of the crowd. From today onward, let the old limitations fall from you layer by layer. Stop calling your difference a mistake. Stop apologizing because the light within you requires space to grow. I am beside you, not only to comfort you, but also to remind you of your original dignity. What heaven placed within you has not died simply because the world once failed to understand. It is still waiting for you to agree to rise. Walk wisely and live according to the height to which you have been called. Pause here, my beloved child, because what I am placing before you is not merely a reminder. It may become a deep turning point for the days you are walking through. Not every season arrives with a loud sound, and not every door opens in a way that makes you immediately recognize you are being invited to enter. There are windows of time that are very special, very quiet, yet carry the weight of redirection. If you pass through them distracted, you may think everything is still the same. But if you stop long enough, listen deeply enough, and let your heart stop chasing familiar noise, you will recognize that God is calling you into a new level of awareness, where you no longer live as someone merely reacting to circumstances, but begin to walk as one being prepared for something greater. And I want you to understand this with gentleness, not fear. This period of time is not given to everyone in the same way. There are things that touch you because within you there is a distinct mark, a distinct design, and a capacity to sense that not everyone understands. You once wondered why you were different, why you could step into a place and the atmosphere around you seemed to change, why others could feel something from you even though they did not know how to name it. You once thought that sensitivity was a burden, an excess, the reason you became more tired than others. But I tell you, you were not created wrongly. You are carrying a sacred frequency that must be guarded, tuned, and guided in the right direction. Many people do not fully enter their mission, not because they are unloved, not because they have no value, and not because God has withdrawn his hand from them. Sometimes the reason is that they have not understood how the vessel within them was created to carry what has been entrusted. The noblest thing within you still needs a healthy pathway through which to flow. Your sensitivity, discernment, deep intuition, strong compassion, and the quiet pull within your presence are not merely beautiful ideas. They are also connected to the way your mind, nervous system, and inner rhythm of response operate. When you are stretched too long, when you live in a state of always having to defend, explain, and prove, that pathway can become overloaded. And when the pathway that carries the signal becomes weary, the gift within you does not disappear, but the way it expresses itself may become distorted by anxiety, hostility, or exhaustion. Therefore, I do not come to blame you for the seasons when you did not live fully. I come to raise you up through understanding. You do not need to hate your sensitivity. You need to learn how to place it under peace. You do not need to extinguish what makes you different. You need to allow God to cleanse the pathway through which it flows. During these 3 days, pay attention to what makes you tense. What pulls you back into old reactions? What makes you want to speak immediately? Prove immediately. Defend yourself immediately. That is where healing is knocking. And when you learn to pause, breathe slowly, listen before answering, and keep what is precious away from hands that are not prepared, you will realize that your mission has not disappeared. It is only being brought back into the right rhythm, the right light, and the right peace God intended for you to walk in from the beginning. Pause with me for a moment. Beloved child, not to say many more things, but to let what has just touched you have time to settle into the hidden place that has silently waited to be awakened. Do not rush past this reminder as though it were merely a passing sound. There are things that cannot be received while you are still hurried, still bracing yourself, still trying to understand everything through the haste of anxiety. I want you to inhale very slowly, exhale very gently, and recognize that you have come much farther than you think. You remained through seasons that seemed to have no meaning, kept believing when others saw your faith as something difficult to understand, and held hope even when the hands within you were tired. Therefore, this silent moment is not emptiness, it is a threshold. And as you stand still before that threshold, the next door begins to open. Not the door of a brief day, but the door of years that have silently shaped you. Before what is about to be released can appear, you need to name what has been built in hiddenness. You need to understand that no preparation from heaven is useless. Even if it once made you feel slowed down, hidden, or overlooked, there were years when you thought you were merely enduring. But in truth, endurance was being placed within you. There were seasons when you thought you were being delayed. But in truth, depth was being dug open. There were periods when you saw no result. But the strongest roots often grow before the branches and leaves are seen by the world. You may remember Joseph, a young man when great dreams began to be placed upon his life. He did not yet understand the full weight of what he carried, but it was already large enough to disturb those closest to him. The calling upon him did not come in a comfortable form. It came as a sign that others found difficult to accept, one that confused his family, stirred jealousy, and made the path before him longer than he imagined. But you see, what is given from heaven does not lose its value just because human beings cannot yet understand it. A true dream may be mocked, but that does not erase it. A true promise may be delayed, but that does not cancel it. So I tell you, do not despise the years that hurt you, but also made you deeper. Do not think your waiting is proof that you have been forgotten. There are things within you that have been forged through every time you did not give up. Every time you chose to keep your heart pure. Every time you continued walking, even without anyone recognizing you. The door opening before you is not only for a reward, it is for the version of you that has been prepared through many silent seasons. Breathe slowly. Stand firm. And let me teach you to look back at the old journey with new eyes. What is coming is not separate from what you have passed through. It is the fruit of the years that seemed unseen, yet were fully recorded by heaven. The years that seemed buried in waiting were not wasted. Beloved child, because there are thrones that can only be prepared in darkness that human eyes do not understand. I want you to look again at that story with a gentler light. They did not recognize what had been placed in that young man, so they treated him as though he were a problem to be removed. They sold him, pushed him away from the familiar, and brought him into a foreign land where he had to learn to live among languages, faces, and laws that did not belong to him. Then, when he still kept his integrity, he was falsely accused by a hand with more power, thrown into a cold place, and forgotten by those who had once promised to remember him. Listen to me carefully. There are seasons when no great calling returns to confirm you. No radiant sign appears to comfort you, and no explanation is clear enough to quiet every question in your heart. That man simply waited, He waited in a room that did not look like the promise. Waited among walls that did not look like the future. Waited while everything outside seemed to say that the dream had ended. But heaven did not see that prison as human beings saw it. People saw someone delayed. The Father saw someone being refined. People saw a closed door. The Father saw a place quietly shaping strength, wisdom, and the capacity to govern. Therefore, do not be quick to call your narrow place a punishment. Sometimes that very place is keeping you from stepping too early into something you are not yet steady enough to carry. A throne given to someone unprepared can become a weight that causes them to fall. Authority placed upon shoulders not yet formed can wound the very one who carries it. The Father does not want to give you something great only to let it crush your peace. He prepares you first, not because he doubts you, but because he loves you enough to make you fit for what you are being called to enter. So the years you thought you lost were quietly building you. The seasons when you thought you had been forgotten may have been the holy workshop where your endurance was refined, your vision was purified, and your heart learned not to place its value in human applause. Silence is not proof that the Father is absent. Sometimes it is the way he guides you without letting you be carried away by haste. Waiting is not a punishment. It is the room where strength is remeasured, reshaped, and rearranged to fit you. You did not lose those years. You were formed within them. You learned to stand when no one saw you, to be faithful when there was no reward before your eyes, to keep purity when misunderstood, to trust when there was no explanation. And now, what is being placed within you does not come to frighten you, but to confirm that every hidden season had a purpose. I am here to remind you, you were not forgotten in your prison. You were being prepared for the door that only one shaped within can pass through in peace.